Okay, come back down here. So continuing right along, after we did those things, now if we come back over here, we see that we've got the side info next. So let's go ahead and style our side info. So coming over here, we have .side info, enter. Width, we want to say that's going to be 25% of the page. When we get to the main content, like here, the width was 75%. We're giving this 25%. It's really math. Now we're going to do float left. What did we do wrong here? Or semicolon. Float left. And then on margin, this is, okay, I think it's from, you just specify you can say margin left, margin right, and so on. Or you can specify the margins all in one go. So you just put them out. So 1%, 0%, 1%, 0%. And that's top, right, bottom, left. Now the same thing before with our border radius. We want those to be exactly the same as our buttons were. So we'll save that. And so remember, like that border radius, that's what this is, right? This curve here. And we didn't want to apply them to these buttons. I think it would look kind of weird if you applied the curve to the hover of the buttons and the active button. So coming back over here, we just wanted to apply that. So we'll save that. Let's refresh. So where we are. So now you can see there's a little bit of spacing here between this stuff. Now coming back over here. The other thing we need is a background color, and that we're going to do 79. Not too many of those. There. Now let's refresh. Whoops, we don't want 79. What was I thinking? Hold on, let's go back over here. We want a light gray. We want like F8, F8, F8. I think it's, let's see, refresh. Yeah, that's what we want. Nice. Okay. So now that we've done the side info, what comes next? Well, the main content, right? This post info, or not post info, sorry, the posts, and then later post info, obviously. So let's get to that. Let's pop over to our CSS file. So after that aside, which was here, the next thing we have is main content, then all the content, the typical article, and then we even have the header tag within the typical article. So now let us go down here, and we're going to want to first talk about our main content. And within here, we want to edit the line height. Line height. The reason I don't really want to do line height in the side info is because that's supposed to be like really chunky text, you know. So we don't really want to mess too much with line height specifically in that side info. Anyway, continuing on, line height, we're going to say 20 pixels. And then we just want to copy and paste this border radius stuff to this. And that's it with main content. So the next thing we want to do is the content within the main content. And for this, we want it to take up 70% of the page. That way is a way to make cushion. We want it to float right, float right of the aside that's floating left. Now we kind of want to make some padding, so we're going to make 2% and 2%. That's top and sides, so like top and bottom and left right padding. Next thing we want to do is background color, and we want the background color to be we want to use that same background color that we just did with the side info, so I'm literally just going to copy and paste that. Now what we want to do is let's make the margin here, and we want 1%, 0%, 1%, and 1%. And then we want to copy and paste the same border radius nonsense. Copy, paste. Now the next thing we have was that post info, right? The date posted. So let's pop over here. content, you've got this article class with typical article, and you've got this latest post here. Or I'm sorry, post info, my bad. So we'll pop over here, post info. What we want to do with the post info, first of all, we want to be font style. We want that to be italic. We also want its font size to be a little bit smaller, and we're going to make that 75%. Finally, we want that color to be a bit of a light gray, so we use 98, 98, 98. And let's save that. Let's see where we stand at the moment. So now you can see we're getting pretty darn close to being complete with this, right? We've got this stuff, it's spaced nicely between each other, and pretty much the only thing that's major that you're probably noticing is our footer. Our main footer tag needs to eventually end up down here at the bottom. So let's pop over to our CSS here, and let's check, let's make sure, yeah, we've already done all this content stuff. Sure enough, next thing we have here is footer. And then we've got the class of main footer. So let's come over to our styles tag, period main footer. And in here, we want the width to be 100%. We want its float to be left, and we didn't do this. There we go. We want the margin on the bottom to be about 2%. And I'll show you why after we're done here. Now we want this copy and paste this border radius nonsense. And then we want the background color to be the same as that navbar color, so 797979. Let's save that. Pop over here, refresh. There it is. You see how it's got this nice space? Let me show you. Let's get rid of this bottom margin here. Thought I would get away with this. Oh, it's CSS. Herpin and derpin. Let's see. God, there's like a million different ways to comment stuff in every language. So I wish they would just all agree on the same way to comment things. Anyway, so when it's like all the way to the bottom, I don't know. It just kind of bothers me, so I kind of like to have it spaced up just slightly. So that's what that 2% is doing there. Even though there's really no content down there, that's why we want that bottom. Next thing that we have, of course, is here. It's all the way over here. We kind of want to space it over here. And we also want it to be white text, kind of like this text, right? So if we click over here, it's white text. So now that's the only thing that we really need to change. So the next thing we do is main, footer, and the paragraph of that. Oops. We want the width to be 92%. Margin, we want 2%. Auto, we forgot our semicolon up here. And finally, the color of this text, we just want white. So now we refresh, and sure enough, there we have our beautiful, beautiful website with our hovers, our active links, and we can click on stuff and it sends us somewhere. In this case, it sends us right back home. But anyway, that's your basic HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial, hardly covering all of the things that you can do within HTML5, CSS3, but just some basics to how to make a simple website. That's going to conclude this basic series here. If you're from the Django tutorials and you're in the Django playlist, then it'll continue on. Otherwise, if you're in the HTML5 playlist, this will continue on with any new HTML5 tutorials that we have. If you find yourself bored and want to do some developing, I suggest you check out my Python, especially Django website development tutorials. As always, thank you for watching, your support, your subscriptions, and until next time.